On a magnificent night in the Tang Dynasty's imperial palace, there was an extravagant celebration for the emperor's birthday. Dignitaries and nobles filled the halls with chatter and laughter. Among them was a highly respected Zen master, a wise monk whose advice had influenced numerous rulers across the land. At the heart of the event was the emperor, a man known for his sharp mind and strong leadership, tempered by occasional bursts of anger that had challenged his reign. Amidst the mingling guests and music, he observed the festivities closely, eagerly awaiting the delicious dishes that would soon be served. This seems to be a truly special occasion, he reflected, savoring a sip of the fragrant tea served to him. With the esteemed Zen master here, I hope to gain more understanding of the path to wise and compassionate leadership. As the first course arrived, the emperor leaned in, excited to taste the flavors. He closed his eyes, enjoying the delicate aromas that enveloped him, a contented smile forming on his lips. "Wonderful," he whispered, nodding in appreciation to the imperial servants. With each passing dish, the emperor found himself increasingly impressed by the culinary artistry on display. His excitement mounted with every bite, and he couldn't help but lean back in his chair, fully immersing himself in the dining experience. However, when the main course was placed before him, silence descended upon the room. The dish, typically bursting with flavor and aroma, had been terribly overcooked. Its once vibrant colors had faded, and the enticing aroma had all but disappeared. The emperor's expression darkened, and a flush of anger spread across his face. "This is not acceptable," he exclaimed, his voice reverberating through the expansive hall. "Who is responsible for this disgrace?" The remorseful chef, trembling, stepped forward, his eyes cast downward. "Please forgive me, Your Majesty," he stammered. "I'm afraid the ovens were too hot, and I failed to rectify the mistake in time." The emperor clenched his fists, his knuckles turning white with the strength of his grip. "Too hot," he exclaimed, his anger flaring like a storm. "Don't my guests deserve the best? Don't you realize the importance of this event?" Just as the emperor was on the verge of delivering a barrage of criticism, he noticed the Zen master sitting quietly at the edge of the table, watching the scene unfold with a calm and steady gaze. Sensing the rising tension, the respected monk addressed the emperor. "Your Majesty," he spoke softly, yet with the weight of wisdom. "Even the most skilled chefs can struggle when the heat is too high, just as our own tempers can cloud our judgment." The emperor's angry tirade came to a halt, his mouth opening and closing as he searched for a response. He felt the gravity of the monk's words sinking in, and for a brief moment, the noise of the room seemed to recede into the background. Gradually, the tension eased from the emperor's expression, and his shoulders relaxed. "You're right," he acknowledged, his tone calm and reflective. "I may have been too quick to blame without fully understanding the situation." Looking at the nervous chef, the emperor beckoned him with a gesture. "Please, come here," he said gently, his voice free from the anger that had gripped him earlier. "This dish, though not as expected, is just a small mistake in your culinary presentation for this banquet. Let's move forward with understanding, so we can grow and learn from this experience together." The chef's eyes widened in disbelief, and he cautiously approached, bowing deeply before the emperor. "Your Majesty," he stammered, "I am deeply grateful for your forgiveness. I will work even harder to avoid such mistakes in the future." The emperor nodded, a slight smile appearing on his lips. "Make sure of it, as the prosperity of our kingdom relies on the unity of all who contribute to it." He motioned to an imperial servant, who promptly replaced the overcooked dish with a new one. As the feast continued, the guests were impressed by the emperor's surprising patience and understanding. They murmured to each other, reflecting on the wisdom shared by the calm monk and how it had turned a potentially tense moment into one of grace and composure. The Zen master, watching the events unfold with a tranquil demeanor, leaned closer to the emperor and spoke softly. "Your Majesty, I'm encouraged to witness your embrace of patience and understanding. By doing so, You've not only upheld the dignity of this event, but also set a standard that will inspire your people for years to come. The emperor nodded, his eyes showing a newfound understanding. Your words have truly enlightened me, he admitted to the revered monk. I must confess, there have been occasions when my anger has driven me to act impulsively, without thinking of the repercussions. However, now I realize the profound strength found in patience and kindness. The Zen master smiled, his eyes twinkling with a knowing light. The true measure of a leader, he said, is not in the display of power, but in the wise and measured use of it. You have shown that tonight, and I have no doubt that your subjects will be all the more loyal and devoted for it. Feeling encouraged by the monk's wisdom, the emperor experienced a strong sense of purpose and insight. I will work to uphold those values, he affirmed, his determination clear, not only within the palace, but across my entire kingdom. Only then can I fulfill my responsibility as a leader and guardian of this vast realm. As the evening neared its end, the emperor approached the Zen master again, bowing respectfully. Your advice has been invaluable, he expressed earnestly. I'll remember these teachings to grow as a leader and serve my people with more compassion. The monk smiled warmly. So, go ahead, Your Majesty, he said. May your rule be known for wisdom, fairness, and a strong dedication to the welfare of those who seek your leadership. By doing so, you'll make a lasting impact on history. The emperor nodded, feeling determined. From then on, he promised himself to handle his responsibilities with more patience and self-control. He understood that by controlling his responses, he could promote an environment of peace and mutual respect, not only within the palace, but also across his entire kingdom. It's all too easy to let our emotions get the better of us. Whether it's a missed deadline at work, a tense moment with a loved one, or a simple mistake that throws a wrench in our plans, our instinct is often to react swiftly and decisively. We want to fix the problem, set things right, and regain control. The story serves as a powerful reminder that genuine strength and wisdom come from composed and careful responses, not from reacting impulsively. Just as skilled chefs know that excessive heat can ruin a dish, our own hot tempers can needlessly escalate situations. When faced with a problem or setback, it's normal to feel angry or disappointed. But it's precisely in those moments that we have the chance to show our real strength as leaders, colleagues, and members of our community. By pausing, taking a step back, and dealing with the situation calmly and compassionately, we not only ease the tension, but also inspire others with our example. Think of the times you've witnessed someone in a position of authority, be it a boss, a politician, or a community leader, lose their composure when faced with challenges. It probably undermined your trust and respect for them. It might have made you doubt their judgment and their capability to handle difficult situations effectively. Now, imagine the impact of the opposite scenario. Picture a leader who, when confronted with a mistake or crisis, reacts with poise and calmness. They acknowledge the issue, seek to understand the root cause, and work collaboratively to find a solution. In doing so, they not only resolve the immediate problem, but they also cultivate an atmosphere of mutual respect and cooperation. This is the core message from the Zen master in the story. When we control our reactions and respond carefully, we tap into a source of influence and leadership that goes beyond the present moment. We set an example of patience and understanding, motivating others to face difficulties with a calmer attitude and greater compassion. In our personal and professional lives, this wisdom is invaluable. Whether we're navigating a difficult conversation with a colleague, confronting a mistake made by a loved one, or grappling with a setback, the ability to respond with restraint and compassion can be the difference between escalating a conflict and finding a constructive solution. So, The next time you feel yourself getting angry or wanting to react impulsively, think back on the lessons from the overcooked dish. Remember that real strength isn't about showing power, but using it wisely. When you respond with patience and compassion, you not only improve yourself, but also encourage others to do the same. This creates a ripple effect of harmony and growth that can positively impact your personal and professional life. Have you ever experienced a situation where reacting calmly had a positive impact? We'd love to hear your story. Do share them in the comments.